Good morning, Steve here, and I thought may as well just start off with googly eyes. Really like the googly eyes from the light that I use to make me look like I'm healthier than I possibly am. Well, here we are again, and this would be the 11th, which is my favorite number. I mean, you could say, well, it's two numbers, it's one and one, but they're added together, they make another number, which is 11. And 1111, supposedly, according to some people, is the number of awakening. So maybe that's why it's my favorite. And if you add 1111 together, it's 22, which, according to some people, is a whole bunch of ideas and beliefs. 22, according to some people, is the number of love. Okay, so we have a fair amount to go through today, and so I'm going to skip right past the red card of today, the Mayan card. I'm just going to skip past it and go straight to the tarot, and I was, had one of my. Oh, and by the way, the glasses are a result of the black glasses that got cracked during the leaning up against the counter during the making of the celery juice yesterday. A lot of celery juice made, but glasses cracked, but not the glass, which is probably plastic, but the plastic right there on the other pair of glasses, the dark ones that possibly make me look like Austin Powers. But I like the name Austin Powers. And so today's tarot reading is about coming into our power. Doesn't that sound like fun? I mean, when I woke up this morning, I was like, geez, I could sleep another 100 years. And then my wife pointed it out that that wasn't Rumpelstiltskin, that was the other person. Rumpelstiltskin was maybe the name of the, I don't know, dwarf who wouldn't give his name, but somehow somebody heard it, it changed the world or something. I'm trying to get the chair organized. There we go. So I'm not seeing it so much. It's not in my own view. Question one might ask oneself is, should I just start over? Nobody'd know I even said all those things, and probably nobody will know I said all those things. They're probably hitting that button. Skip. All right. So let's just go through the routine, shall we? I choose to connect to my deep self. I don't know why I don't do that first thing in the morning, but I ground myself to the healing power of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the one. When you do this, feel those things happen if you do feel them happen. But notice them happening because you're actually stating it out loud, so you're actually doing these things. And I choose to work with the Hathors. And if you said that before, you don't have to say it every time, but I do say it every time because it just reminds me that's the choice, as is everything. Okay, so the reason we have the wonderful tarot reading we have today, because one of my favorite people asked me to pull some cards, and so I asked the universe, can this be a world reading? And the universe said yes. So it's not like awakening two birds without getting stoned. That'd be one way to look at it, an altered reality way to look at it. You best get used to altered reality without the alters. The reality is shifting if you haven't noticed. And if you're feeling like, no, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not, that's fine too. It's shifting because we're going along with the shift. And if we resist the shift, then we are the shift. And more than likely, we're going to be hitting the fan. So, one of my favorite people, another one of my favorite people, there's like 8 billion of them or something, but another one of my favorite people wrote me a text message this morning about the detox process. And like, you know, what's going on with all this detox? Are we detoxing for the world? Blah, blah, blah. And I wrote back something probably brilliant and eloquent. She can put it in the comment section if she remembers what it was. But I left my phone. No, I didn't. There it is right there. Well, I'm still not going to look it up. But I said something, you know, like what the way that the world changes is by us changing ourselves. And so as we detox, we're creating a cleaner, clearer world. We're going to be perceiving the world more clearly as our consciousness just removes all these kind of toxic particles that have been disturbing our field, you know, and creating this kind of odd reality that seems to have been going on for, well, 73 years in my case. But I've always felt like it was an odd reality, and I just felt like just do the best you can. And so that's my mantra. And then also I have another mantra that I received from Bill Murray in a movie. And that mantra is, it just doesn't matter. And it can. I mean, we are matter. So here's a bit of matter right here. Some more matter. So if you mind, does it really matter? Or if you don't mind, does it matter? And it seems like matter takes place no matter what, whether we mind or don't mind. And I've always been of the direction of not minding. Or I have a friend who's a spiritual teacher who her kind of state of elegance is no mind within. It works. I mean, I guess it works. It looks like it works, and she has a lot of followers, so let's say something's happening there, and they're all enjoying it. Okay, so, okay, we've connected with our deep self, so we're feeling that deep peace and calm of the deep self. And we may be feeling other things, and maybe those other things we're feeling will kind of come and go during the next, hopefully, 15, 20 minutes. So the first card that my friend got today was the Chariot. And I think it was maybe on the day of the eclipse that we got that Chariot. And I'm just going to go through. The next card that showed up was the Wheel of Fortune. And that's a major arcana, or what's called a trump card. And then the next card that showed up was the Princess of Swords. And so in the past few days, what I've done is I've done a past, present, future reading. And so, you know, in this reading, we're just taking a look at the world and what are the things going on in the world. And I'm going to interpret these cards and their meaning, but you don't have to take my interpretation. You can make up your own reality. You're going to anyway, so I don't need to tell you to do so. You're going to do it. I'm going to do it. We're all part of one reality that we're all making up. And so the question is if you're making up your own reality, ought you to be complaining quite as much as you might be? I have to ask myself this question frequently. Okay, so seeing that we're not doing a past, present, future necessarily, but if it's simpler, we'll go ahead and just say, okay, it's past, present, future. It's all happening now. So first card we got is the Chariot, which involves the principle of change, movement, a combination of stillness and activity. And in the card, it's you know, a being dressed in all in gold, and being pulled by lions, and got a crab on his head, and yeah, there's other significant animals. But in the center, around his hands, is the Wheel of Fortune. And so the Wheel of Fortune, what it's saying is that in order to continue to move forward in our own progression, we need to complete things, or just take them off. If you use the roulette wheel, which I've used before, where they spin the roulette wheel and there's numbers and colored things on it, and you place your money on something. I've watched it before. I don't know that I've ever actually played it, but anyway, the ball rolls and it lands in a spot, and it can be your fortune. So the Chariot driver is using the Wheel of Fortune as a steering wheel. And so to me, this is saying that we're choosing our own direction. We get to roll the wheel, or we get to steer the wheel. We get to navigate where we are going based on what we feel to be right and true to our heart. So you're going to have to get used to this whole heart thing, because there seems to be like a whole bunch of awakening in the heart area, and the heart steers us clear, steers us clear and steers us clearly. So if we follow our heart, we're going to end up where we are. I know it was brilliant. What can I say? All right, so I think that's all I'm going to go with the Chariot. It depicts a figure in contemplation of quietude, sitting within a chariot, ready for activity. So we go from a place of quiet into action, quiet into action. Okay, that's the Chariot. And the next card that we got was the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is the principle of opportunity, breakthrough, and prosperity. So it's the universal principle of abundance, prosperity, and expansion. In astrological terms, this is Jupiter, the planet of luck, opportunity, and abundance. This symbol reminds us that, like the goddess Fortuna in Roman mythology, that we can turn our lives in more fortunate and positive directions by being objective like the Sphinx, flexible like the monkey, and reaching for new opportunities and a way to express our creative power like the crocodile. So we're currently working with our own Wheel of Fortune, following our intuition, following our sensing, and really working with the world as ours, because it is our world. The world is mine, the world is yours, the world we experience, the world we create. Everything that's happening is happening now through our choices. So I'm just going to throw in a little plug about what teachers in the dream world talked to me about coming up 4 years ago, which was that there were 3 ways to change. You can change through your beliefs, because they explain that our beliefs are basically stories that are made up from unresolved experiences of the past that still have emotional charge. So when we separate the emotional charge from the belief, we can then release the emotional charge and let go of the belief. And I asked, what do you have when you don't have any beliefs? And they said, well, you have your experience. And that's what you can trust. So we're in a time of trusting our experience, not trusting the belief of others. Checking them out and seeing if they are beliefs that can turn into an experience, or everybody's just running around with a bunch of beliefs based on a lot of emotions. And if their beliefs are challenged, they have a tendency to get triggered and release a lot of emotions, possibly at you. Which I'm doing pretty good because I haven't felt a lot of that in the comment section. So I feel like we're doing well. So that's the Wheel of Fortune. The Chariot tells you you're steering your own ship. The Wheel of Fortune tells you that it's a time of abundance, prosperity, and expansion. And then the last card is the Princess of Swords. So the Princess of Swords. So this is in the past, present, future part. This is the future. This is what we're moving into, is the mastery of practical thinking. Which, and the other two things from how we can change through beliefs, behaviors, like habitual things that we do, and boundaries, how we hold our energy boundaries with ourselves and others. But the Princess of Swords is about the mastery of practical thinking. So maybe, and this reading was for a friend of mine who was looking at the busyness of the next 9 months and how best to approach that. So this was a personal reading that I then asked the universe, is this also a reading for today, for the world? And I got a yes. So what we're all moving towards is more practical thinking. So the symbol represents the ability to apply ideas in tangible and productive ways. Princess of Swords is the mood fighter who is determined with her sword, her clarity of mind, to fight any moods, dust storms, within herself. She actively prevents herself from getting engulfed in the moods of those around her. You've got to be afraid. You've got to be afraid. You've got to be afraid. No, I don't. I mean, somebody's holding a gun to my head or something, I might be afraid. But nobody's holding a gun to my head. They're just trying to psychologically influence, whoever they are, the whole conspiracy thing. But maybe there are people out there who are trying to influence us in a particular direction. But we are the charioteer. We are the one that holds the Wheel of Fortune, which steers our own chariot. So we're in charge of where we go, and we're wearing golden armor, which is pretty cool. I mean, if you're gonna be driving your own chariot, it'd be maybe possibly good to be in golden armor. But I think gold is soft as a metal, so got to make sure that you don't have anybody with big swords. The golden armor might not, cover you very well. Okay. So she is determined to apply her practical ideas in productive, useful ways. The mushroom pedestal covered with coins. So, yeah. The Princess of Swords is constantly regenerating her thinking to see how her ideas can be cost-effective and nourishing to others beyond herself. And the symbol reflects a need to act upon ideas rather than just talk about them. Princess of Swords is the state of consciousness where word and deed are aligned. Word and deed aligned. There's some virtue happening. Practical thinking requires that there's no difference between verbal commitment and external action. So what you say you're going to do, you do. And I think that's part of the 4 agreements. Like, be impeccable with your word, do your best, don't assume, don't take it personally, which is my goal, to just not take it personally. We're all living in our worlds, and we're all doing our best. And sometimes we can question our best, and others can question their best, and we can question each other's best. But why? Why bother? Just commit in your words and your actions. Just do your best. Okay, so when I was done with that personal reading for a dear friend, the cards were stacked up, and I was told to pick another card and place them right below the cards that I had already done the reading on. And this was later, and when I looked at those, they explained a whole lot more. So we have a second reading, or you could say a double first reading, or you could say an 11, which is 1 and 1. So we have the 1, which was the top cards, and we have the second one, which is the bottom cards. So the first card we got, so we'll just stick with the past, present, future theme. First card we got is the Eon. The next card we got is the Knight of Discs. And the last card we got is Dominion. And I think it's 2 of Wands. Even though it looks like a 4, I know. But that's just 2 wands crossed over each other. All right. So what are these about? So the Eon is the principle of good judgment and discernment. It's your choices that are going to lead to your experiences. So, are you using good judgment and discernment in making your choices? The Eon symbol represents the principle of good judgment that is utilized in both personal and professional situations. Webster's dictionary defines the Eon as that state which represents a long, indefinite period of time. So that's kind of nice to know, that we have a long, indefinite period of time to work with this stuff, which, some of us might have been thinking, like, the sky is falling, and they're trying to kill us. We could have any thoughts we want, and the thoughts that we have can cause all sorts of releases of emotions if we still have those emotions stored in there from previous times where they were trying to kill us or whatever, for those of us who lean a little bit more towards the paranoid side. But this too can be released. Just release all those beliefs. Okay. An indefinite period of time. The Eon reminds us that all perceptions come from our ability to take a look at the whole, and that it is our inherent desire to consider longevity. It certainly is mine. I've been considering it for a while. A really long time if you look way back. History and broad perspectives in all situations. Okay, is there anything else? And then it goes on, and there's, Osiris and Isis, and okay, so Osiris is the Egyptian god of wisdom. Isis is the Egyptian goddess of intuition, and they together had a child who they gave birth to the body, mind, and soul of Horus, the god of perception. That's an eon. It's like, it's good to use good judgment over time. And by doing that, we'll tend to create worlds that work better for everyone. So that's the period of time we're moving into. And my own perception of this is that in this 26,000 year cycle of our planet propelling our sun around the central sun, and it takes 26,000 years, we're both getting very sleepy. So it goes around, and every 13,000 years is kind of like the Earth is externally patriarchal, and then that shifts, and then for 13,000 years, the world's externally matriarchal. So we're in the matriarchal, the transition. We're in a 28-year period of transition between the old and the new. And in March 23rd of 2025, we will complete that 28-year period of time of cleansing. So we've got basically 11 months or so to go. And the feminine consciousness is taking over. Like it, it's happening. I like it. So, and you can, learn to like it if you don't like it, or you can like it immediately. Kind of like the world's going to be run by your mother. That works for me. I liked her, and I like many mothers. So the idea of everybody's getting taken care of, the kids are all being watched. They're being protected. I like that. I like that idea. Okay, so the present, what we're working right now is the Knight of Discs. The Knight of Discs, I'm glad I put these little page markers. Pretty good little page markers. Looks like a king or a chef. Yeah, it looks kind of royal, like something that came out of King Arthur or something with a funny little hat. All right, so the Knight of Discs is about mastery of abundance and prosperity. Now, I don't know about you, but on the side of, when I'm watching YouTube, usually my own videos, because I get a lot from them, because I'm bringing information in, and then as I watch them, I say, oh, I'm starting to understand that. But on the side, it's like the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Like maybe they've come to understand through artificial intelligence, and they have another name for that. But anyway, they've come to understand, because I probably said it over and over to my computer, which then sends the information to some giant computer in probably China. I think China maybe owns Apple computer. I don't know. But if you do know, you can let me know. But who would you rather have all your information than China? I don't know. They're as good as anybody, I guess. I guess when you're kind of paranoid, you just don't trust any of them. But anyway, this is the mastery of abundance and prosperity. And so the Knight of Discs demonstrates his capacity to manifest skills in the outer world in practical, observable ways. He is the harvester who, with his threshing tool in hand, is prepared to harvest that which he has cultivated. So that's what we're all doing. We're all harvesting that which we have cultivated. So that's a good description when next time somebody asks me, why am I continuously detoxing? I can just respond, you're cultivating what you have harvested. I think it works. Okay. So this knight is determined to achieve harvest in the area of health and finances. I think that's a good idea. The Knight of Discs represents the doctor or the healer in the deck, or the financier or investor. In the areas of health, he monitors his diet. Celery juice is one possibility. And he creates and protects that which is financially necessary with his large coin shield. He is the manifester. And his work is not abstract. This is harvest that is the result of one's creative and diagnostic abilities combined. Again, paying attention, really evaluating these things. And then the future, what this leads to, it leads to the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is the word for the Two of Wands is dominion. And so, when I read that, I had the little stuff come up, and then it cleared. So the Two of Wands is a symbol of the state of dominion, balance, and integration. In other words, you own yourself. That's your dominion. That's your home. And symbol represents optimum balance of energy or the sense of sovereignty or being very comfortable with your domain while taking good care of it and feeding it good things for its longevity. Being comfortable with your domain, which is the root word of dominion, the sense of experiencing harmony and balance within your domain. And then it gets into the Tibetan dorjes and the symbol of renewal, regeneration, and healing that comes from states of balance. So I feel like, sorry to move in so close. So I feel like this time period is a time period of being in or coming into balance, to integrate energies that we just ran away from in the past, and now let those energies come up and let them resolve, separate our stories and our emotions and release the emotions. Change behaviors, and not all at once, and not like you're a mad person. Like when something comes up and you see that you have a habit that maybe you've had for a long time that has not served you or anyone else well, consider letting it go. Consider doing something differently, being more creative. And so I think this reading today is all about the potential that we have for being really creative in times of incredible change. And for those of us who don't like change, and I'm not going to include myself in that, there's some change I like, some change I don't like, but I do actually like change, and especially I like change in myself. And so do others. And I get positive feedback for when I'm less of, what I was before. And I'm just more pleasant to be around. I mean, you're seeing the results of changes, because maybe some of you didn't know me before, so you didn't know who I was in the past. And let's leave it there. And so here I am in the present. But many of the people who have been with me for a long time from that past are still with me. So that's a good sign. And they also feel comfortable in assisting me to make changes. So they might point some things out that might be done differently. And when one really doesn't take it personally and one just looks at it and goes, oh, okay, I'll give that a try. So you can just give it a try, give it a go. See what making a change in your own beliefs, really beliefs, just release them and just go with your experience, and your behaviors just, you know, do some different things. And if you find things that really seem to work, go ahead and let them become behaviors, new behaviors. And then boundaries, just your energetic relationship with others and how you hold your own, how you perceive yourself as a sovereign being who others may tell you, you know, what you have to do. You have to do this. You have to do this. And you can, as a sovereign being, go into your heart space, go into your deep self, go into your groundedness with the healing center of the earth and your openness to the power of the one, and say, what is the right choice from my heart? Make that choice, and you won't go wrong. I mean, the heart can be our wheel of fortune. It can be our good fortune, is to just let our heart, let our love, you know, I don't want to sound too soppy or whatever it is with it, but let our love of our life and the life of others guide us in the choices we make, which over the course of time, the choices create the reality that we experience over that eon of time. Okay, so seems good enough to me. I don't think I'm gonna do the Mayan cards of the day. You can go to 13moon.com and find out what the day is and read about it yourself. But I just wasn't feeling like that was the thing, that the tarot was the thing today, and I thought that the cards were really kind of magical. And I hope you find them useful, and have a lovely day if that's what you choose. And namaste.